Field as well. We'll show them to you during the running of the race. Remember, the start here was so controversial last year. The rule is the pole sitter has to get to the line first. The pole sitter is on his way. In fact, a good start over the line. He gets well ahead of second place as he comes to the line. One engine could already be in trouble. We've seen a couple of puffs there as Mansell takes the lead of the race.
Well, Mansell sure didn't let happen what happened last year. He had about 2 car lengths ahead of Little Al last year. He got snookered a little bit by Emerson Fittipaldi.
And Mike Groff already off the course and into the tire barrier. That will bring out a local yellow. The IndyCar safety team already there helping him.
It's amazing what these tire barriers do. The drivers sometimes drive in there well over 100 miles an hour. It doesn't ever seem to hurt much, Paul.
With Team Penske in pursuit, Nigel Mansell pulling away from the field. Remember that last year he did not do well on road courses. A great surprise to everybody. But now Little Al begins to close on Nigel Mansell.
Mansell's success last year depended on his skill on the ovals, which he had never run on. You mentioned that he wasn't good on road courses, Paul. He must now reverse that trend this year if he's going to be champion. Bunch of road courses coming up in the next few weeks. He must excel if he's going to erode the Penske lead.
Paul Tracy sits in third, Emerson Fittipaldi in fourth, and then Mauricio Gugelmin as he comes off of the corner with Bobby Rahal finding new power in that Honda engine. Comes off just behind Gugelmin.
On that Honda engine, Bobby Rahal has an engine that is now firing with the same order as the Cosworth Fords and as the Elmore engine, Paul, and it seems to have made a lot more horsepower. What that means is they fired 2 pistons simultaneously.
On the nose of Bobby Rahal's car, tail Bobby just behind, Gugelmin just ahead.
Bobby, it means, of course, the engine sounds differently. They're aiming for torque.
Ari Leyendijk into the pits. Unscheduled, obviously. We'll keep track of that. Back with Bobby Rahal. He runs in 6th.
The big changes to that engine were to get it more torque, which would help it accelerate, of course, off the turns, which would be ideal for this track. And he qualified better today or yesterday than he has in some time.
People that have normal engines drive on the highway fire 1 piston at a time. The difference being, Sam, is explain a little further, is they fire 2 pistons at one time, makes an 8-cylinder almost like a 4-cylinder.
2 cars with an early visit to the pits. One of them you saw a moment ago, Ari Leyendijk, but Gary Gerald also Stefan Johansson.
Indeed, Paul. Real problem is they came in and the right rear had just been totally shredded and demolished. We don't know where the contact was, but he obviously was in a first lap incident. They've made the change, fresh rubber. He's back out, but now at the back of the field.
And take a look at Al Unser Jr. as he comes around Mansell, and Little Al picks up the lead.
Yes, and you know, passing is so hard here. I almost missed that when it happened so fast.
Yeah, like you said, it's hard here. He just zoomed right around.
Yeah.
Now Paul Tracy comes up to challenge.
Now Paul cannot afford to sit behind Mansell too long because Little Al is getting away. Obviously Mansell's not working as good here. There he goes right there, and he
wow,
him out. That was
clean pass, and I think Paul Tracy knows that he cannot at this stage in the season, with only 1/3 place to give him points, afford to make any mistakes. He made a mistake at Indy, he made others. He must drive clean races.
We were all sitting here cringing, Sam, when that pass happened because we didn't know if it was going to fit or not.
So now it's Emerson Fittipaldi that begins to line up on Nigel Mansell. Though here in the early laps, Mansell can take his time. Here was the pass as Al Unser Jr. came right down to the inside on the exit of the corner. Boy, nice piece of driving there. Is that chassis handling well?
And the idea is of course, to block him out, which Little Al has him blocked now where he can't do anything. If you notice, straightaways are so short, Paul, he had to really get an early start at him.
Take a look at this. This is the accident involving Mike Groff, which also involved Leyendijk and Johansson. But Groff hopped across one of the barrier strips and straight on into the tires.
Now, sometimes Mansell has let the others set the pace early in the race. I doubt very much that that's what he had in mind here. I think Mansell is going as hard as he can now, but we have seen him in other races play the role of the fox, drop back a little bit.
But you could tell, Sam, he wasn't going to do that here because you could see that start. Mansell was going at it from the very beginning.
Emerson Fittipaldi now closes on Nigel Mansell. That lens will push the following car back just a little bit, but still it's a spectacular shot.
Whereas psychologically, when you're in the car, the guy behind you seems huge in your mirrors. Big difference.
So Fittipaldi now in pursuit of Mansell. Al Unser Jr. has the lead. No driver has ever won at both Milwaukee and Detroit. Seems though like we said something earlier this year. No one had ever won at Long Beach and Indianapolis. Little Al is rewriting the record books.
Well, only 3 drivers in this field have competed in all 6 Detroit Grand Prix. Interestingly, a real changing of the guard issue.
Now, Emma's faced with the same decision that Tracy had. He's going to have to take a hard run while his tires are good at Mansell, or forget about passing Mansell at least until after the pit stops.
You see the rest of the group coming down in pursuit behind Fittipaldi, Gugelmin, Rahal, Fabi, Villeneuve, and Robbie Gordon. Rahal looking for position on Mauricio Gugelmin.
Now remember, this track, unlike a lot of the others, as I mentioned a little bit earlier, has no real long straightaways with hairpin or real long turns at the end, which is normally where the passing happens.
Watching 5th through 9th. 10th place now is Mario Andretti.
Gugelmin, the first car in this group here, is a veteran of 74 Grand Prix. His best finish ever was 3rd.
This is that great helicopter shot. Remember, the helicopter can fly at about 130 miles an hour. The IndyCars just drive right away from it.
Sure gives you a good idea which way the turns go and what the drivers have to be looking at.
That's the battle for the front of the field. Here it is again. It's first Al Unser Jr. and then Paul Tracy.
Remember last week at Milwaukee, the Penske's did not qualify right at the front, but once the race started, they just swarmed to the front. That was a 1-mile oval, a completely different configuration than this track. Here again, almost the same thing happens. Mansell seemed to have them handled in qualifying and then has surged, they have surged past him.
So at the front of the field, Nigel Mansell, who picks up the lead from the pole, is then passed by first Unser Jr. and then Paul Tracy. We'll be back after this message and a word from our ABC stations.
Category.
For the first time in his IndyCar career, Al Unser Jr. is leading at Detroit in the ITT Automotive Detroit Grand Prix. But there was earlier incident, and now a yellow outstanding to guard this car, Raul Boisel. Jack, what's the story here?
Well, Paul, we checked with Raul Boisel with his crew, and Mo Nunn is calling the shots down here. Mo, what did Raul tell you over the radio about the condition of the car?
Raul said the dash just went out and the engine died. Other than that, we don't know.
Has it refired?
Sorry?
Has it refired?
No.
Paul, they seem to think it might be an electronic problem, but from all the smoke that we saw, it also could be an expired motor.
Well, we'll keep an eye on Raul Boisel, who's in a precarious position. What you just saw was Teo Fabi, as he had to maneuver out and around none other than Mike Groff. There's Groff's car. He was involved in that incident earlier on, and he's back out on the course. But now they go to a full course yellow, and that is to recover the car of Raul Boisel. They thought that was too precarious a position, and so we're now full course yellow. The field will line up behind the PPG pace car and Al Unser Jr. and reform, and we'll go racing again with 8 laps complete here of the 77 in Detroit.